There we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this stream today where we're going to be interviewing the Ritzy Rescue Rancher, or should I say ranchers?
Yes, the ranchers. And we're welcoming Kate and Chris tonight to our stream. This is going to be a really exciting conversation, a discussion, because we're going to be talking about obviously raising vegan kiddos, but we're also going to be looking at that connection between farm animals and children. So lots to talk about, but should we see who's in the house?
Yeah, we will do before we go over and have a look at their pages. So we've got Grumpy Vegan Grandad. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
Muddy Paws. Hello, Muddy Paws. I'm not gaming tonight.
No.
I'm Easy Vegan. Hello, I'm Easy.
Yo.
Oh, I just wanted to say that stream from Grumpy Vegan Grandad, that was pretty good. Really good.
I was watching when I was eating my dinner.
A new person.
Hello.
Helga. Hello. Welcome to the UK Vegan Family Channel. Hello. We got Satan inside. Hello, Charlotte.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh, look who it is.
Our favourite Canadian.
Yeah. Anti-vegan nonsense. Hello there. I hope you enjoyed my guitar song earlier.
Oh, Ang Harrod's Life is here.
Yeah,
Hello, lovely. She's got a new recipe or a new video out today, guys. So go and check it out. It's on her YouTube channel.
It's got Gwen. Hello, Gwen. Oh, look who it is. We've got Leon.
It's Leon.
Super Leon.
Yeah, Leon is super, isn't he? This guy, there was a 24-hour, I can't believe it was a week ago.
Yeah, we did a 24-hour.
We were part of a 24-hour live stream, and this guy was there all throughout the 24 hours.
Yeah, he's a YouTube trooper. Gwen, hello again. So we got Nicole Hancock. Hello.
Not seen you before.
No, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Pardon?
That's Nicole Hancock's our family.
Oh, hello there. So we got Katerina.
Hello lovely.
Oh, hi mods in the house. Keep an eye on Vegan Medical.
And I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it for now. So
welcome. Okay.
Right,
so
shall we go and pop over and have a look at their channel?
Yes.
And
so we're going to take you over to these guys' Instagram, and there's some absolutely adorable pictures on there. So you guys can perhaps talk us through some of those animals on there for us. So we're just going to whiz you over.
There we go.
So can everybody see that? Can you guys see it?
Kind of. Yeah, we can see it. Yeah, get close.
Okay. Okay. So I guess this is your lovely little lady down here, isn't it?
Here.
Oh, bless her.
Yes.
So can you walk us through? Let's do this one.
Who's this guy?
Well, that's Roxy. She's one of the first goats that we had. She's very curious and friendly. They were really skittish when we first got them. They came from an extremely neglect and abuse situation.
Oh no.
No food. You go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say so they came from a farm where animal control had to come in, and they literally, there were dead animals all around them, and there was a few chickens and a few goats that were actually able to be saved and rehomed. And so animal control called us and asked if we would provide a good home for these goats, and that was kind of the story with them.
Yeah, they kind of came to us a late winter night, and so we had to carry them in our arms to our barn. And they're still rather skittish, but they're really warming up to us. We've had them for 2 years now.
Yeah,
2 years, and they're sweethearts.
Oh, thank goodness they found you guys then.
Who's this lovely lady?
Oh, I absolutely love cows. They are my favourite animal. Absolutely. Oh,
well, that's Ted. And the little white fluff ball there, that's Harley. She's been in the family for a very long time. But Ted is an interesting story. You found, how did you find him?
Yeah, so Ted actually came from our state out here in the west of the US, and it's awful, right? Like, I didn't understand just how bad cows had it until I actually moved out here to the farm life. And so what essentially ends up happening is once a baby calf is born, it's taken away from its parents within the first 48 hours.
Yeah.
From there, right, like they are either sold off for veal, they're automatically killed because there's just no room for them, especially if it's a male calf, or they're sold off to other farmers. And so in his case, he was born on a dairy farm. He's a male, he was taken away from his mom, and then he was sold off to a goat dairy farm. So they ended up taking him in, and from there he grew up for the first 8 weeks of his life, right, drinking off of a nursing goat. I mean, just so unnatural.
Yeah.
So unnatural. But he kind of found us, and we offered him a great home. And it was weird for us, though, because when we had him, we kept him on the goat's milk for a while just because that's what his system was used to.
Yeah, so we were bottle feeding him like a powdered goat milk that you add water to make it into, the liquid, and we would bottle feed him the goat milk while his girlfriend or sister, whoever, our little black cow, whatever their relationship is, Indy, she had regular cow's milk because of the same situation. Pulled from the mother. The dairy farms find that the milk is more of a commodity to be sold, and they don't want to waste the commodity on the cows. They want to put it out to market. So
it's evil, isn't it? What happens in the dairy industry?
Mm-hmm.
It's by far the worst. I think it is the worst. You actually sent us some pictures, didn't you, of Ted? So should we get those up, Adam?
Oh, okay.
Oh no, this is Yuri.
Oh, this one always makes me emotional. So this is a big reason. We've had many factors in our lives, some big things that have come up to kind of lead us to this adventure. But he really, the thing that took us from being vegetarian to being fully vegan, right? We moved out here with the intentions of wanting to start our own rescue farm. And we hadn't quite made the transition to veganism, right? Like we understood how these animals were treated, but until we truly saw it, that was kind of like our big wake-up call. And so around the corner from us, about 3 houses down, one of our neighbors does exactly kind of what we talk about. He's the person that goes in and pays for these baby calves when they're, just under 48 hours old, and then he takes them. He drives clear down, hours away, picks them up, takes them back, and brings them to his farm. So around the corner from us at any given time, God, we went there's many times we've kind of gone over just because we can kind of see it too. And there's got to be 50 calves, like in a tiny area, and he just sells them off.
Yeah, I think this one was actually born on their lot, but not given the appropriate attention that it needed. Weak, malnourished. As you can kind of see, they left it laying in the position that it's in, and so its muscles atrophied.
It's awful.
And has open wounds on it. As you can see, there's some bandage around it that had open wounds. And we kind of saw it on the corner, yeah, we kind of see the impact that dairy farming has. And, it kind of doesn't really matter, I think, of what perspective or ethics you come from when it comes to why you eat a diet that you do. I think what's important is to see the life that's involved with it, and to see that an animals are cared this way is not right. They're sentient beings. They have emotion, feelings, and
they do.
You can kind of see, when you have them, when you interact with them on a daily basis, like we do on our farm, they have such a range of personality. So it's obvious that they're more than just instinct. They have emotions. They have likes and dislikes that are different from their cohorts. They're in the barn with them. And so.
Well, so we had gone over. We took these pictures. Our neighbors kind of had this sense of compassion, at least for his name was Yuri. At least for Yuri, and they wanted to see if anyone would take him, right? No one would take him. We wanted him, but at the time, we just didn't have the setup for him, right? We were both working full time at that point, and so we found another sanctuary that would take him, and they took him, and it was incredible because even though he only survived for about 2 weeks longer,
Oh, bless him.
in someone's house with a pillow and a blanket next to the fire.
And a best friend pig.
Yeah.
So they would have to clean up after it every day. He would, defecate in the house, and they would go through and clean it up, and then stretch out his arms to try to get some movement in his atrophied muscles. But unfortunately, he didn't last.
That is awful. Poor thing. Thank goodness he found you guys though, and had that, however, that short time of actually feeling love, because not many animals get to feel that, not many farm animals get to feel that, do they?
No, they're commodities, not living creatures, like us. They're just commodities to a lot of the world, and that's unfortunate.
Exactly. So whereabouts in the world are you guys from?
Yeah, Western US.
We're in Utah.
Okay.
Utah.
Okay, yeah, because you're 7 hours behind us, aren't you? So it's half past 1 plus over there. Awesome.
So if you got a map of the Great Salt Lake in Utah, we can see the Great Salt Lake from our back porch. It's a bit of a drive, but we can see it. So it's really nice.
And how many acres of land have you guys got over there for your farm sanctuary?
We're hoping that this is small because we do want to expand at some point, but currently we have 5 acres.
Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
What made you want to own a farm sanctuary? What was the? Because you said that you moved out there, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the reason behind it?
Provide it was really a desire to I don't know how to say it, like to give, save a life. I mean, we know that we're not going to save them all. We just hope that we could, be the change that we want to see. See people loving and caring for these animals, set an example for our neighborhood. But really, I think it's just because we started off rescuing dogs.
I sat on the board of a nonprofit around here that did no-kill rescuing of dogs and cats. So that kind of right, me and him were both really into the dog and cat animal rescue, and then from there that expanded to us volunteering on different I'm going to use quotations because it's supposed to be rescue farms, but some of these rescue farms that say they are really aren't, right?
Okay.
And so in doing that kind of volunteer work, that kind of spurred more of, we want to do this. I mean, there was one day that we were volunteering at this little farm, and a calf came in, right? And these baby calves, when they're less than 48 weeks old, less than 6 weeks old, I think it takes 2 to 4 weeks for a calf to really build up an immune system. And so they're so weak. And so volunteering on these different farms, these calves would come in and they're dying, right? They're sick. And there was a time where I turned to Chris when we were volunteering, and it was I just want to take one of these calves home, but I felt helpless. There was no way I could go in and save them because we lived in the city.
And we didn't have a space for it. We lived on a very small house with this very, very, very small yard, so it was kind of a drive for us to be able to give animals, these beautiful things, just an opportunity. Because I think oftentimes the capitalist society that we live in, everything is a commodity to be sold, viewed through the eyes of profit, and I think that's where a lot of disconnect comes from, and so we don't want to participate in it.
No, we have quite a few farm sanctuaries around here, and obviously the big charity fundraiser last weekend was because of, I'm going to say the word, COVID has meant that a lot of places aren't able to, they have open days and they rely on donations throughout the year, and they've all been struggling. Have you guys been struggling with because you said yours isn't public, is it? It's like a private, but have you been struggling because of COVID with managing everything?
Fortunately not. Right now we're pretty self-funded. We do have some family and friends that do help, with things here and there and do some monthly donations. But we do want to expand and become a public, kind of true nonprofit, right? A 501c3, so that we can continue expanding. Things get really expensive. With the land we have now, we're kind of limited as to how much we can grow. And so we have some future goals with that.
Yes.
But I guess going back to COVID, no, we haven't been impacted in a negative way, but in a positive way, because of like our jobs, we've been able to work from home. And so not only has that helped with letting me raise my daughter, but I have a lot more time going out on breaks or lunch breaks or not having to like drive into the city. I can just go out and hang out with my animals and care for them. I don't think we could have done cows very easily otherwise.
No, not especially young. Not especially when you get these animals at a young age where they need to be bottle fed and they're sick. The care is really intensive. I think COVID has actually been more of a blessing than a hindrance. Made us more available.
So, have you guys got other jobs alongside doing this as well? Because you're saying about like working from home, like, wow, okay, that's incredible.
It's a lot.
It's hard enough raising a family, but when you've got animals and then other jobs as well, that's an awful lot of work. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we have 17 animals, but they're basically all on the same schedule, so it's relatively easy. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but since they're all on the same schedule, it's pretty good to go out there, hit them, take care of them for about an hour in the morning, then go back to what you got to do to take care of the house, take care of the baby, and then lunchtime you go and check on them, make sure everybody's good, and you come back in. It's just so it's
a routine.
It's a routine, and just like every family gets into their routine, ours just include 17 other hairy, cute things.
It sounds amazing. I wish we had something like that. It'd be awesome.
It would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think we'd fit cows in our back garden.
No.
Though. Definitely not. I saw a really good question in the chat, Adam. I don't know if you want to find it. Oh, I think was it this?
Is this one there?
Yeah.
Katrina.
Yes. Are you able to see that, guys? Come up on the screen.
How do you get referrals, receive information about the animals that need rescuing? Well, the county that we live in, we've gotten in contact with them. So they're aware of us, that we're interested to participate in, whether it's fostering an animal till we can get it a better home or to just outright adopt them, which is usually what happens. We tend to just give them a place to stay until we can find a better place for them, but we usually end up falling in love with them and keeping them. So that's kind of what happens. And so we kind of get involved with the community of rescues in our town and in the counties and stuff. And so it's a lot of word to mouth, a lot of other groups.
But I was going to say, the funny thing is, like, once you put it out there that you're willing to rescue something, these rescues are constantly calling you and they're always sob stories. And so it's, it's kind of a downward spiral, right? Because you want to save all of them, but we know we can't.
Yeah, because where we live, we have animal limits, so we can't go beyond the capacity that the county sets for us without incurring other issues and stuff like that. Which some of our neighbors don't seem to mind because they have way too many cows for their dairy farming and stuff like that, but. Really, because then it comes down to capacity. It's like we might be able to sneak a few more in to get past the county regulations, but then it's like, do we have means to be able to take care of it, the time to take care of them? So we kind of have to limit ourselves as well to our own means.
How do you say no when you have a sob story? Because that must be. Yeah. How do you do it?
Well, I mean, really, it's just, when we get the sob story, if we can't facilitate the need, then we just go into our network of other rescue friends and try to find that place for them. So we take it as a call to action, and we try not to say no. We just use it as a call to action to get that word out to everybody else to usually find a nice place for that animal to settle.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It is awful what happens to these animals. It just it doesn't. It's why I wanted to speak to you guys, because it's always doom and gloom. That it always is when it comes to farm animals in particular. And obviously with you guys doing what you do, I thought, wow, it's something a little bit different. And it means we can talk about, you know, raising children with farm animals. I just think it's amazing. You know, you're going out there, you're rescuing these animals, you're giving them love that they've never experienced. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Really, really is.
It's really fun too, because, you know, our daughter being 18 months old, some of her first words were moo and meow and ruff, ruff, you know? So, I mean, she's being raised with these animals as family pets, you know, to the degree of a dog, you know, I would say, and I kind of look at family pets in a different light. I don't look at them as family pets. I look at them as family.
Yes.
You know? And so she's going to be raised with that, because the way I see it, it's like the way you treat the least of us is the way you treat the rest of us. And so if you're going to be cruel and harsh to small animals, there's a good chance that you're going to treat people the same way. And also if you look to see life in these animals as sentient beings with emotions, things that deserve respect and love, like a family member, I think that's going to migrate into your relationships with humans, the acceptable type of relationships, because a lot of people look at animals as not deserving the same rights as we do. And I disagree. I think because they don't have thumbs and they're not going around blowing buildings up or building buildings, that they don't deserve the same respect that we deserve. Well, they're aware, they're conscious, and they're emotional, and we got to harness that and respect that.
I think going back to that story about your one calf that you found that had the injured leg, looking at his picture, he just looked like a big puppy dog. You know, he got like curly fur, and if it wasn't for the fact that he had hooves, it did look like a big dog. It just, you know, because they haven't got paws, it's wrong, isn't it?
Watch them play. They play like dogs. They jump around. They throw their bodies in weird angles, and they're spastic. They get the zoomies just like dogs get the zoomies.
Or you walk outside and they just come right up to you, right? They just want treats. They want hugs. We brush them. I mean, they are so full of life and so much love. That's like the cool thing about these animals, is that it could be on your worst day and you go outside and you just feel loved, right? I mean, they're just beautiful, beautiful things.
I've got a question here from Grumpy Vegan Grandad. I just wanted to... Have you had to turn any animals away yet, and could you? I think
we've had...
Yeah.
Because our barn only has 3 stalls. We've got everybody situated within the stall so that they're safe and shelter. You know, we have cats in our basement. We have cats in the barn. We've got dogs everywhere. We've got goats, cows, horses. You know, we're kind of, you know, we realize that where we're at is kind of at our limit currently. So that's why we want to expect, we do want to help more animals. It's just we're at our capacity. And so that's when we reach out to our other friends doing the same stuff to help
find them good homes. Right.
Yeah. I think we did touch up on that, didn't we?
What was that?
So I'm glad to hear that. Upsetting as it may be, I suppose it's better for the rest.
Oh, I would just love that experience. I just can't. Jack would love it, being around farm animals all day, all night. He would just, yeah, I would love it as well, I guess. So, well, I would love it. So your daughter is 18 months, all right? Mm-hmm. So she is in the best situation. I would just, yeah, I would love it. I would love that. Just being with farm animals all day long. It would be ace. What is it like raising your daughter around these? I know we've just touched on it a little bit, but obviously, you know, most children, they're not around farm animals, and we learn about them in nursery over here and school. We sing lots of songs about them, and a lot of the songs they're not right, really. You're thinking about, Old MacDonald had a farm. They're all really controversial. I think they're just, they're wrong. How is it raising your daughter with all these animals? And have you found any challenges from anybody about raising your daughter vegan?
Yeah, so raising her around animals, honestly, I feel like she's living my dream, right? Like I would have loved to have grown up this way. And in a weird way, I mean, she does have her stepbrother, but she's kind of half brother. I'm sorry, half brother. But since he's not here all the time, she's kind of, and it's COVID, right? So we can't really go out and about and see all these kids. She's kind of had to adopt these animals to some degree as like her siblings. And it's so cool because she's never alone, right? She always has a dog, she has a cat, or she goes outside and, she wants to pet all the goats. I just think it's something that's so special.
But yes, it is kind of tricky to be vegan in the society that we live in. There's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of prejudice.
And
so, with my parents, they're pretty supportive, but there's a little bit of resistance on raising our daughter vegan because there's always that concern about not getting enough nutrition or whatever. But it's kind of like I don't know how people could raise these animals, see how emotional they are, and then find it okay to eat them, And so I think this farm is helping our daughter and ourselves see a deeper meaning of their lives. And I think that's going to, make us and her that much better of a person when it comes to sensitivities, people's plate, where people are in their lives, and being able to, I think, be more compassionate.
She's got that instant. Say that again.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it kind of goes into it too, where there are some people that just don't understand, right?
Yes.
But at least in like some of his family members, we've kind of led by example, right? Like, this is what's important to us. This is what we think is kind of like the way to live your life. And in that, people ask us questions, right? His family have wanted to come over and interact with the animals, and they've wanted to go in and watch shows like Game Changers, right? Like different things to kind of educate themselves. And even though they haven't quite jumped on the bandwagon yet, at least they're learning and they're trying to understand. And I think that that's been like the coolest part. With my family, it's really easy, right? Because they're all vegan. And
that's good.
But my sister had really inspired us to kind of start making these changes. And so from them, it's nothing but support.
That's amazing. It must be really hard to have family come to you, especially Chris, with your side, and then see these animals and still not make that connection and see them for who they really are in an environment where they're free, to then go home and eat them. Doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't make sense, but I can kind of see how that happens because I think the way that we perceive our environment has a lot to do with the culture that we come from. The culture that we come from treats basically everybody as expendable. If you're not producing enough at your job, you're fired. They're going to replace you, and then it kind of goes down to where we look at ourselves as our skill and our labor as a commodity to be traded between businesses to make money, but then we're not respected because we are disassociated to our environment, and we look at everything around us as ways of consumption. And I think it's easy to see animals, especially when you're raised in a world where you eat meat, that because we're mistreated, it's easy for us to mistreat what's below us and kind of move on down the line. Whereas if we can start to show respect to our environment, I think that's going to help us become a little bit more sustainable when it comes to, you know, our jobs and our relationships and everything that's around us. And so I think a big problem is capitalism, you know, but so I try to remove myself from that as much as possible by saying that life is not a commodity, that it's not to be consumed or used and abused, because that's how I feel when I go to work. I feel like a commodity myself, you know.
But
Yeah, I kind of feel a bit like that too.
What's that? What'd you say?
I kind of feel a bit like that too. It's just another number waiting in line.
Yeah.
And I think we look at, you know, because of the way we're treated that way, it's easy for us to see other things that way or treat people that way. Because if we're showing respect at work, chances are we're going to show respect when we get home to our family members and our friends and stuff like that. Because we'll feel respected, we'll pass on the respect. And so I want to give that to the smallest to the biggest things. I want to give that respect to them, you know. What are you going to say?
I was going to just say, like, I think a lot of it is just the habit, right? You know, we're so used to growing up and then you eat meat and you eat dairy, and it's really easy to make excuses to do it. But I think, you know, as you start to make this connection of, yes, these are the facts, right? It actually is healthy to be on a vegan diet, right? It's compassionate. It saves the environment. It cleans our air. It purifies our water by not doing this mass production of factory farming. Right? There's just so many benefits to it. I think once you slowly start connecting those dots, right? And then you are around people kind of like us who just want to educate, I think it becomes easier. And we've had, you know, at family events, like we'll bring, like, you know, to his family events, we'll bring like different foods that are vegan. And it doesn't always go over super well, right? But I kind of think of it as you have to form a habit. Right? Our foods are what we've been having for a long time. It's what you're used to. But then once you start trying new foods, it can take up to 10 times to like that food, right? Like we have a kid and the doctors say try 7 to 10 times before you give up on that food, right? Because chances are after she tries it so many times, she'll like it. And so it's like the same thing. It's trying to get people to give this food a chance, not one time, but several times. Hoping that, you know, maybe they'll say, yeah, this is actually good, and then they'll start eating it.
Definitely. I can vouch for that. I used to absolutely hate bananas.
You hated everything that wasn't pizza or burgers.
And I just, you know what, when I went vegan, I was just like, I've just got to do it now. I've just got to do it.
For the animals.
For the animals and for my health as well, because I started off with my health. And I tell you what, I love bananas. I have one at least one day now.
Well, we make banana ice cream where we freeze, put it in a food processor with a little bit of almond milk, protein powders, whatever we want, blended up in the food processor, and we've got ourselves ice cream. It's delicious.
It's so good. Well, and it's interesting too because, you know, his son comes over, and we have to make sure that his son likes the food too, and that is a favorite, the banana ice cream.
Yes, I love a bit of that, to be fair. It's amazing.
You know, I don't know who's watching this stream, if it's vegetarian, curious, vegan, light. I really don't know, but like I would give advice that I would give, because what basically happened to me is I was, I kind of stumbled into Buddhism in 1999, and that started to really change the way that I viewed life and awareness and consciousness and all that stuff. And that made me want to be more compassionate towards, you know, people, animals. And so I had the idea of becoming vegetarian. So, you know, early 2000s, I tried some vegan stuff. Wasn't really into it, so I kind of backed away from that. But I was still very conscious of the suffering of animals. And so over time, you know, after I met Kate, you know, I dived deeper into the vegetarianism. And then I would try different, I would replace different food sources like meats or cheeses or eggs or stuff like that. I would over time just find a substitute that I enjoyed enough to replace the meat, or enjoyed enough to replace the cheese or the eggs. And so I know a lot of people who just dive into veganism, and it's way.
It's intimidating.
It's intimidating, and they don't know what to do, and they kind of fall off of it. And so I would just suggest to go into it slowly. You know, no rush. You don't have to be vegan by this day, but you know, take a conscious effort of replacing things in your diet. So eventually, before you know it, you're going to be vegan because you've replaced all that stuff with the things that you like that are sustainable and good for our environment and for your health. You know,
I think this day and age, it's so easy to go vegan now. There is so, I mean, I never know if it's better your side of the world or if it's better our side of the world, but because it's January, we've got Veganuary, and it's really good at the moment, isn't it, for vegan products?
Apparently is it a million people?
I have no idea.
This January.
If anyone knows in the chat, pop it down because I can't remember. But
Over.
it's so easy now. I mean, we are part of a vegan mentorship program called the Vegan Switch, and it's a completely different type of mentorship because you have one-to-one support from a mentor, and its focus is on the animals, on the ethics. So you know, there's lots of things like that now that some people need that support and that guidance. They might need that transition period, but it is so much easier. For me, I was raised vegetarian, and looking back, you know, 30 plus years ago, it's so different. There was nothing back then bar, you know, sauce mix and a couple of corn sausages. It's just so different now. It's so easy.
Well, you started off vegetarian, didn't you, for the animals?
Yeah.
And then
Right, it's always been that way for me.
And then you found out what they do in the
dairy industry was the biggest shock. Awful finding out. I was an animal lover. I loved cows, but I was part of the problem. It was, it's a hard pill to swallow. But vegan 2 years, and I would never ever look back now. Just never. Not when you know what goes on to those animals. You just don't. And
I was just living in cloud cuckoo land, I think. I watched a few documentaries and I was just like,
yes,
I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's in the
I'm not doing that.
Know these facts. You know, here in America, there's like ag gag laws where if you film a slaughterhouse, if you film what's going on inside of a slaughterhouse, you can get slapped with domestic terrorism charges. You know, there's like a slaughterhouse in Salt Lake that you drive past right off the freeway, and if you were to pull over and take pictures of that, you can get arrested. And so it's like, it's in the industry's best interest for the public to not know about this stuff, because if the public en masse knew the way that these animals were treated, I can't see it really going over very well unless people are really that connected, you know. And I think we don't give humans, our people in our society, enough credit. I think a lot of it just comes from ignorance, and I think it's forced ignorance by the systems that we live in, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to live that lifestyle. So they set the example of a different way to stop and ask yourself, why am I participating in this? And how do I want to participate in this? And then make your own choices outside of that. I think most people don't even stop to ask those questions to themselves, you know?
No, it's just how they were brought up, isn't it?
It's hidden. It's like hidden in plain sight as well. Like the way, how people are programmed to think that ignorant about things, like, and people say that vegans are pushy or extreme and things like that. I could turn on the telly now, and within about 20 seconds, I can, there'll be a special buy of, dead flesh. Get it now, January, right. And then it'll be like backed up with like another dairy industry going, "Oh, get this cheese, it's brand new, blah blah blah," and
it's everywhere.
That was just absolutely everywhere. It's hidden in plain sight.
And you have a vegan advert on the TV and everybody goes mad. Oh, the vegans!
And then you have a vegan advert going, get this soya milk. And I don't want to get soya milk.
It's being forced on me.
Yeah, stop. I want this advert taken down right now because it's offending me.
It is, yeah. But anyway, I want to move back onto the subject. Otherwise, we're going to go right off, aren't we?
Sorry.
Obviously, your daughter's 18 months. Jack is 3, so there's quite a difference in age in understanding. Right now, Jack is at the point where he knows he's vegan and he's very proud of it. He tells everybody at nursery that he's vegan. He asks people, is this vegan? He likes reassurance because he wants to know that he's not eating animals or anything from an animal. I guess your daughter's quite protected in that little bubble right now, isn't she? Because she's around these beautiful animals, and you probably haven't had to have any discussions with her yet, have you, about why? Have you even had to discuss veganism with your daughter at this age?
I mean, no, it's what she knows, you know, since I think coronavirus has given us a bubble that is yet to be seen how that's going to affect her long term.
Yes.
But we haven't had to, a lot of people, you know, we don't, so she doesn't have to see. I mean, we take it to my mom's house, and we provide the food that my mom's going to feed her, you know, when I go to work and she's babysitting or whatever. But I think she's too young to even really know about it. I don't think she'd understand the concept of it. And I don't really know. I guess to me, when a child is wise enough to ask the question, they're wise enough to have the answer. But I just don't know when that conversation is going to come up, you know, and how do you I mean, how do you have that?
It's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard. There are vegan parents in this chat tonight. And, you know, we talk to each other, because it's not the easiest thing to do. From a young age, obviously, Jax was raised vegetarian like me, so he's never eaten animals. I've never called it meat to him. He just knows that he doesn't eat animals.
Or dead animals.
Or dead animals. It's animals, or he knows that over there in the supermarket is a dead animal. That's what he knows. But I've just been honest with him, but age appropriate. So all I've sort of said to him is, we are vegan because we love animals and we don't want to eat them. We don't want to hurt them. And it's kind of, you know, gone up to, he knows that other people eat animals, but he doesn't. And he finds that very sad. And I think if you asked a lot of children about it, they would say the same as him. There was a situation in his nursery. It was before Christmas anyway. And they were all sitting down at the table and it was time to have a glass of milk. And they must have said to Jack that it's cow's milk. And he went, that's disgusting, and pushed it away. It obviously wasn't offered to him. It was somebody else's.
It was someone else's. He has soy milk.
So all the other children all said the same, and they wouldn't drink their milk. So he knows that cow's milk is for baby cows.
Cows, yeah.
He knows. But that's it.
But that triggered a massive discussion with the children about choices.
Yes.
Which we need to talk to the nursery about, because it's not really a choice.
Yeah, but that's sort of, you know, a separate point really. But he knows enough. He doesn't know what happens to these animals. He doesn't know that, and he will learn that as he gets older, because we've always said we'll be transparent, open and honest, because it's what we have to do really. But it isn't easy.
Well, I think most kids at a young age, when they're eating like chicken nuggets and hamburgers and stuff like that, they don't realize that they're eating chicken or a cow.
No, they don't.
You can even tell them that they don't put the two and two together. It's not until they're older that they really can be cognizant of it. But by that time, it's such a habit and it's all around them, and they don't know how to question and do differently. So it's just good that there's people out there setting the example, and, you know, and that's really what it's going to take. Is, you know, we were talking earlier about, you know, a lot of vegans get a negative stereotype of being aggressive or militant. You find that in any culture. You find that in any diet or any ideology. And I think there's things that are worth being militant about. And I mean, we're so raw about dropping bombs in foreign countries, but why are they? I mean, I guess that's why they're okay with eating meat, because they're okay with dropping bombs in foreign countries. You know, it's not. Those two ideas go together. Whereas I think, you know, if you're gonna love life, you gotta love animals, you love your neighbor, you love humans, because they're all the same thing. And raising your children to believe that, it's going to prepare our future to be better and more whole and healthier, I hope, you know, and not so willing to destroy the world. I don't know. Just kind of rambling.
One piece of advice I would give you guys, and it was actually a piece of advice that was given to us when we interviewed the author of Vivi the Super Vegan, and she's an author over here. I'll have to send you some links of some books, because educating about veganism through books is the easiest way to do this. But my best bit of advice that she told us is to not let it be a burden on your children. So I try not to talk too much about the horribleness about the animals. Right. I just try to keep him in a bit of a bubble. And obviously when we have to have those conversations, we just have them and we just kind of get over it, because I don't want him to feel the burden of knowing what goes on. It's really hard. It's really heartbreaking when he knows, when he found out recently that Ham was a dead pig, and that was hard for him. And I don't want him to have to spend his childhood constantly worrying about these things. It's heartbreaking.
Because like for the rest of the day, he just wanted his pigs back.
He just wants to be a child, and that's important. So, you know, obviously the whole thing is important, but I want him to be a child. I want him to be a child and be happy and not have to worry about these things yet. I think as they get older, to sort of like 6, 7, that's when, you know, they're more able to understand things a lot better. So going back to Gwen's comment, I don't know where it's gone as.
3 years old is a bit too much.
A
bit too young for.
The full truth is too much for a 3-year-old. So he just knows certain things, and he is awesome with, you know, he takes it on his chin.
What's the word? I can't remember. I can't think of the word. I'm just going to go past it. Because I'll be here going.
Yeah, you'll be thinking about it for ages.
It's what's it that I'm trying
cognitive
to say
dissonance.
No, we're not. It's like we're trying not to tell him yet, but we're steering him clear of it.
Yeah.
And then when I think he's old enough to understand, we will sit him down and we will have the.
He knows enough.
It's not the birds and the bees, but it's more the cows and the pigs.
Because I think when he goes to school, this is when it's going to have a lot more conversations. School is going to be tricky, definitely.
Oh yeah,
that's our fear too.
That's the fear, is like, you know, how do you raise a child to be vegan and have this awareness, and then send them off to their friend's house for a sleepover, and
especially when the school that they would be going to does 4-H and all that stuff. I mean, we're a farming community.
Yeah.
You'll get there. When you get to that point, you'll get there. I think we've got a couple more years. Well, it's not even a couple of years yet. It's 2022 that he starts school, and
sorry, you carry on. Sorry,
I've
butted again.
Make me go off in a tangent.
To 2022.
I think it's September 2022 he starts school. And what I'm going to do is, well in advance before he goes to school, is start networking with the schools to see which one is going to handle the whole veganism thing better. But for us, we're actually doing a project anyway to approach schools. So hopefully by then we'll actually have some kind of idea. But I think it's getting in touch with them, letting them know straight away. That's all you can do, really, and give them the guidance. A lot of people still don't know what veganism is, and they just don't know how, but they don't.
It's a diet.
Yeah, they think it's a diet, and
they relate it to the Atkins or something like that, and it's just like
it's the whole, you know, cookery lesson, stuff like that. There's a lot more to it. Yeah, I can only let you know as I experience it.
Sorry. I was going to just add, like, one of our big problems, I don't know if you've experienced this, is like with doctors, right? Like trying to find a doctor that actually thinks that this is a lifestyle and not a diet has been so difficult. I mean, we live in one of the most, what they would call themselves, vegan cities in the US, right?
Really?
And we go to see our doctor. She can't tell us anything about the vegan diet. She can't tell us what milk is the best milk to have our baby on. I mean, Chris and I are going to our family doctor, who is a vegetarian, And he's calling pediatricians across the country to try and get all this research for us that our pediatrician should have had. I mean, it's a weird time, but I hope in a few years it becomes more accepted to where more pediatricians know what to recommend.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, well, the thing is, doctors don't actually get any sort of
educational training on nutrition, and neither do nurses.
No.
Very little nutrition education do they get, because oftentimes my experience is no one ever asks what are you eating. It's always like these other underlying issues, but they never go to the nutritional part, because the nutritional part is a huge aspect of our overall health. But they never. Uh-oh.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. I think all these doctors think that we just live on, lettuce.
No, we don't live on just lettuce.
And chopped up tomatoes and.
Yeah, that whole. I got asked the other day, is your son vegan? It's like, well, yeah, he is. How do you manage? It's fine. I know plenty about plant-based nutrition. I know where to get this. I know how much calcium. I know this. I know that. And I'm thinking, but do you bloody know that?
Well, that's the thing. Being part of this plant-based diet, like in order to have a healthy diet, you got to eat a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables to get all the nutrients you need, which does come with your iron and your proteins and stuff like that. And so by getting a well spread of the different vegetables that you're going to eat throughout the week, you're going to get all the nutrients you need. And you look at the average American diet. I mean, what do we export? We export McDonald's, hamburgers, and French fries. You're not going to get your full range of nutritional needs on the average American diet. And so it's kind of like, how are you raising your kid being vegan? Well, just fine, man. They're going to be very, very healthy. Whereas you raising your family on chicken McNuggets and hot dogs, I'm sure if we were to get a blood test on where our nutritional levels are, those vegans, granted, can do it incorrectly, but those who do it right are going to be just as healthy, if not healthier than, the average standard diet that people are eating,
I think
them to.
That says it perfectly.
Yeah.
They do, and we have more understanding of the nutrition on plants, just period. And I'd love to see, these, what they call them, omnivore parents, sit down and find out what's inside of a hot dog or a chicken nugget.
Oh, they don't know because they've probably never been told.
Because.
I mean, if you don't know what's in a hot dog by the time you're having children, I think you're kind of you're choosing to be ignorant on that fact, because how do you not know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that, but it's true. I mean, really, it doesn't matter what diet, you can do it incorrectly, you can do it correctly. You can have a standard American diet and have lots of vegetables and probably be okay, but it really comes down to more than just nutrition when it comes to choosing the lifestyle that you live. Because, if you're a conscious person and you don't want to see the suffering of others, and that extends to the animal families, those are the choices you make, the sacrifices you make. Hey, hell, if I'm going to be protein deficient because I'm not eating meat, I'm fine with that, because I don't want to be efficient with my protein because I'm eating animals. I'd rather just go without and die younger because I'm not getting the right proteins. You know what I mean? It's the sacrifice you make.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree with that.
Well, I do as well. But I've recently had all my blood tests done as well, and I've got a higher B12 than the average, meat eater, and I've got the vitamin D levels of someone who lives in the Caribbean. So.
Did our blood test on that as well, and mine came back perfectly fine. My vitamin D was a little bit low, and that's just because we're in winter and I'm not outside as much, but nothing to be concerned about. I mean, my protein, my vitamin, micronutrients, macronutrients were fine. My lipids were fine. Everything was fine. Just a little bit low in vitamin D, which just spend a little bit more time outside and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Well, and what's really interesting is she actually just had her wellness, Brooklyn here, had her wellness yesterday or like 2 days ago. And because the doctor wasn't real familiar with vegan diet, she just said, oh, vegan, like, let's test for your iron deficiency. So they tested Brooklyn. It was like a little prick, perfectly healthy, right? No problem with iron, anything like that.
Exactly.
No, my iron was good as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
everything was good. Everything was perfect. My blood panel was perfect all the way across the board. So I don't know where this deficiencies. As long as you're doing everything correctly and you're monitoring what you're eating, which everyone should be doing anyway, it's not a problem.
I think part of the problem is there's those few stories that seem to stay in people's minds for eternity about that vegan family malnourished their child, blah, 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 blah. There's like a couple of stories, and there's probably, it's just got the word vegan in it.
Yeah,
that's all it is, vegan. There's probably other issues in there.
Right.
And
there's across the world are not and still malnourished, it's just
that's it.
Just what you do with it. And I don't want to like preach to the choir or anything, but it really does come down to your own personal choices, and it doesn't matter what diet you're on, you have to make the appropriate choices to be healthy, and then you need to make that next step on the ethics of the choices you're making. And I think that's really what it comes down to, is being a more ethical, conscious being and choosing to not spread suffering around the world, and that starts with the animals. So it starts with
yeah,
exactly it. And it doesn't involve any animal cruelty at all.
Exactly. What's this? Oh, look at this. I have
a patience deficiency for their nonsense.
Good one, Mike.
Yeah, that is a good one. I might nick that.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly, Aaron. Yeah, 100%.
No, but as soon as they have that 0.1% of, they'll quite easily put that as front newspaper,
because it's got the V word in it, and that sells. That word does.
They over accentuate the the vegan parent, and it's just like it was nothing to do with the veganism. It was just the parents' fault. They were just trying to. What was it? They were trying to raise their child on like a homemade formula.
Oh, I don't know. I can't comment, but it's always those
really
few.
bad. It was really bad.
So if anybody has any questions in the chat that we have missed, please pop them in, and we'll ask those now. But what's next for you guys? What do you think's next? Have you got any sort of plans?
Oh, here we go.
Well, let's see here.
If I died in a car crash or a bungee jump accident, it would be because I'm vegan. Exactly. It would be like vegan man dies from bungee jump.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I think what's next for us is we really hope that we can come into another horse, because our horse that we have, they're pack animals, and we want him to have a friend. He stands in the corner of our pasture looking across the street to the other horses. He's relatively kind to our cows, but he likes to pick on them a little bit. So we do want to give Chrome a friend, and that's kind of what we're at now. Whatever falls into our lap, we're happy to help, but we only have space for one more animal, and so we're hoping it's a horse. If it's not a horse, then we'll take in what we can take in, and then really outside of that is just hoping that we can get our daughter to go through the different phases of life with understanding and compassion. And hopefully that we can maintain, I'm not going to force her to be vegan. If she grows up and doesn't want to be vegan, we can just set the example. We give them the tools in life, and it's up to them to use those tools.
I think what you've done is your daughter is around these animals. She's never going to see them as a food source. Mm-hmm. A bit like me. I've never seen them as a food source because I've known about it from a young age. You'll probably find that as she gets older, she's going to ask lots of questions. There's probably going to be situations, but you'll just deal with that at the time. I have absolutely no worry. And I think Adam is the same, that I don't ever see that happening because of the way we've told Jack what goes on. I think naturally they don't want to hurt animals. That's the thing.
Well, I think
Yeah.
humans we're blank slates when we're born, and depending on, you know, basically as soon as we come out the womb and then culture starts to beat down on us, it changes who we are. And I think children are naturally good. They are naturally compassionate and sensitive creatures. And I think it's our cultures that really beat that out of us. And
Yeah,
I
it
want
is.
to resist that, provide a subculture. Hopefully she can figure out her ways to survive or make it through this culture with these other ideas, because that's what it comes down to, is being accepted by your friends and not being looked at as weird. And if that's what it takes for us to change the world, well, that's what we got to do. But I think kids they're so great. I mean, they're as innocent. That's one thing about animals. Animals never lose that innocence, whereas children, we lose that innocence because of our culture. You know,
Yes.
we can change that culture. And it starts with setting the examples and fighting for what's right. You know.
Yeah, you guys are doing a good thing. You really are.
There is a couple of questions in the chat. So Trash Carcass, they are from Utah,
Yes.
in America, in the United States.
And where can we support you? So
Yeah.
is there a way, if people wanted to make a donation, that they could support you?
Well, so since we're still kind of in the process of becoming a tax deductible organization, best way is probably through Zelle, or just contact us directly and we can give you information.
But we have a Zelle. I think it's set up on the Instagram account at the Ritzy Rescue Ranch. I think there's information on there through Zelle. That's kind of the easiest way
Okay.
that we found to do it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you don't have a website.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a few people saying that. Yeah, we'd like to. How can we support the sanctuary and all sorts. Thank you, everyone.
Outside of money goes a long way, because our bills are pretty expensive each month for food and medical and all that stuff. But really, just outside of any financial donations, just, you know, show love and respect and send the message out there and be that change you want to be in life.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it comes down to is, yeah, we're not doing this for money. The money helps, but really we just want to set the example and hopefully influence other people. And if we influence you please influence other people. It's kind of like that whole pay it forward kind of concept, you know?
That's brilliant. Oh, bless her.
Oh, it says Grumpy Finger Granddad said, "I'll send cash in a plain envelope. Don't pay tax and support the industry." Wink, wink.
We'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, it could be an option for a future fundraising stream. Yes, it could be. But at the moment, their sanctuary is at maximum capacity.
Yeah, we're hoping
Yes.
to get property in the future so we can have, you know, broaden out that capacity. But right now we're almost at our limits.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have.
Oh yeah, what's really cool about our sanctuary is that we have 50 solar panels, and so we give back to the grid. We produce more than we consume, so that's good. So that goes back into the grid and saves us a ton of money on our bills, but really saves on the environment. We also have well water too, so our well water is run off the solar panel. So we're using aquifers and we're off the grid as much as possible.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the water runs off the solar panels into like a well, did you say?
Yeah, so we got a well. It's 200 feet deep. We got a well. We have 10 acres of water rights, which is really confusing. But yeah, we try to be as much off the system and off the grid as we can while giving back to the system and the grid through our solar panels, you know.
It looks, I'm just looking at your Instagram now. It looks really, what a beautiful place. Are those what you would call mesas, like the hills surrounding you?
Oh, that's just the foothills. Those are the Oquirrh Mountains. Those are just the foothills of a mountain range that's just almost throw a rock at. You know, we have one or two between us and the mountain right there. Yeah.
Wow, it's really, really. I'll just share this one of your horse. It's a beautiful, beautiful photo.
Yeah, I mean, we could not be in. It's so beautiful. It's like we look out in our front yard and we've got these mountains. We look out into the backyard and off in the distance we can see the Great Salt Lake, and it's really beautiful where we are, you know. And it's really about sacrificing today so you have a better tomorrow. And we really did sacrifice and struggle to get to where we are today, and hopefully we can continue to provide. And so everybody out there, if you got dreams, bite the bullet, sacrifice today so you can have a better tomorrow. You know, there's nothing doing your goal than your own limits that you put in front of yourself.
Definitely, I agree with that. Go out and get it if you've got a dream. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome. How beautiful it is. It's really, go and check out their Instagram, guys.
Yeah, go and give them some love. Definitely.
Gotta show the H2O for endless views. Wow, it looks beautiful. Everyone is, it looks really nice where you live.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much for your time tonight, guys. Especially, well, it's your afternoon, isn't it? Especially with your busy day. But is there anything else anybody would like to ask? And then we shall let you get back to your busy family life.
Would you like to ask us anything?
Yes. Is there anything you would like to ask us? We don't usually ask that, do we? We put you on the spot now.
Oh, here we go. I'm Easy Vegan. Do you promote veganism within the sanctuary to the visitors? They're not publicly open at the moment.
Yeah, that's in the plan, isn't it?
I think that's future plans, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we have we have an orchard where we have 10 trees that we do plums, apricots, apples, peaches, and stuff like that. And so we have we open up our orchard to some of the food banks where they'll come in and actually pick a bunch of our fruit for us. One, it saves us time, and it's a big help for us. But
it provides a ton of food.
It provides a ton of food for the community. And you know, I'm almost uncomfortable with talking about veganism to people who don't solicit the information. And I think that's something that I have to kind of get beyond.
But I think what we do really well is we don't really say the B word, right? Because I think a lot of people are just turned off the second we say it, especially in our community. Do come over, right? I mean, like, I'm wearing a sweatshirt now that you can't see it, but like I've got a ton of like herbivore sweatshirts or like be kind. Like I've got a ton of those types of shirts that I wear. But we more just try and like tell people about how like kind these animals are and like their stories to try and like elicit a little bit more attention and questions towards them. People in our community actually do know that we're vegetarian. And so like one of the women threw me, she thought she didn't understand the difference.
Right.
But she threw me like right, and made sure to make it a little bit more kosher. And so, like I said, we don't maybe really promote the word vegan so much, but we try and talk about our lifestyle with hopefully not shutting people down right away from listening to us.
I think whenever we've been to like a farm sanctuary, I mean, I wasn't expecting the first time I went, it just never hit me that it would be vegan, plant-based milks, vegan cakes. It just never hit me because I'd never been, and I was just a bit of an idiot, I guess. But when I went, I was like, oh my goodness, plant-based milks. There was nothing was really said. It was there because they're not going to have, you know, the dairy products there when, you know, they're fighting against, you know, what they're doing for the animals. So it's not really there. People just go and they learn the stories. You know, you learn about the dairy industry, and they are amazing places. I'm really jealous, really jealous. Yeah, and as I'm Easy Vegan said, you know, thank you for all the amazing work you're doing for those animals.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, you guys are doing such a good job, like educating people, and I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, Leon has said, if there's any help or anything like promotional links that can be, you know, mass sent, like, you know, if you're calling out for maybe animals or more to rescue, or you need help with some money to pay the animals or feed the animals, just pass it over to us. We can give it to Leon, and he can just mass send it out on Reddit and try and get it out there. if you ever needed
Thank you.
anything.
Well, I hope
Thanks
we
for
ticked
that, Leon.
off what I wanted to touch on today. I know sometimes I can ramble and get into my brain gets ahead of my words, and so I hope that we're able to stay on top of it.
No, it was brilliant. Thank you very, very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And if you guys ever need any support with any of these questions or anything, just give us a shout. And I'll let you know about some of these books that we've used as well with Jack, because they are probably our best resource, really. Because children love to read, and it's just easier when they could read it. Yeah. So thank you to everybody who's been in the chat. Thanks to all the mods, although there has only been one little troll, wasn't there? Really?
Yeah. Vegan Medical. I don't know what
Yes.
happened to him. He
He's gone.
appeared
He's gone.
and he disappeared. I don't know what
Yes.
happened. If it was mods doing, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you to you guys. And we'll keep in touch. And we look forward to seeing some more of your animals on your page.
We forgot something.
What?
Tempeh or tofu.
I
Tofu.
forgot.
Tofu.
Depends on how it's cooked.
Oh,
Your tofu.
Oh, God.
depends on how it's cooked. I love it.
Oh, and so what was your choice, Chris?
Seitan.
Seitan. He's gone for the curveball.
Okay, yeah.
Right, seitan over tempeh or tofu. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
agree with that. Peanut butter, crunchy or smooth?
Crunchy.
Extra crunchy.
Well, that's a unanimous vote.
Oh, awesome.
Fantastic. Yes, just want to thank everyone for joining in for the conversation. We look forward to seeing you again in the next one.
Yes. Take it easy,
Thank you,
guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.